Question 13. As I try to indicate in my report, I made an effort in each community in which I served to seek out the Jewish organizations, their officers, and their membership as far as possible, period. I tried in every way to cooperate, to be helpful, to answer as far as humanly possible to the needs of these Jewish organizations. And several times I even had the privilege of speaking to them. I recall a talk to a BB Lodge and also a talk to the parallel of the American Jewish War veterans, known, and as I say in my poor French, les anciens combattants juifs. Incidentally, through these organizations, I met some very interesting and colorful personalities. I recall especially in Nice, a young man who ran a haberdashery shop, who told me about his experiences during the occupation. He worked in the underground. He was very helpful in smuggling Jews over the Italian border, and this was before Mussolini changed his attitude toward Jews, period. Interesting, too, the man owned a haberdashery shop, an entrepreneur, and yet he was an ardent member of the Communist Party. Question 14. I really have no written data, no record on this matter, period. I have vague memories of interceding at times on the behalf of DPs with American Army authorities, but I don't believe that there's any very important occasion, and I don't recall any names, places, or times. Question 16. As I've indicated in the report, I did have a small part in the collecting of guns, munitions, and money to be sent to Palestine. I have been as specific as I possibly could in the report. However, may I suggest that you contact, if you have not already done so, Chaplain or Rabbi Abraham Hazelcorn, who at this time is living in one of the suburbs of Tel Aviv. But then I'm sure you have asked him for his report of his chaplaincy in Europe. Rabbi Hazelcorn was indeed very, very active. 17. I did have contact with other chaplains on the Jewish refugee problem. I worked a little bit with the Rabbi Hirsch Lavazer, with Rabbi Rakovsky, whom I have already mentioned, and then responded to all calls from the chaplain's headquarters in Frankfurt for assistance in the areas in which I was located. Perhaps my most intimate involvement was with Rabbi Hazelcorn, who was located at the Delta Base Section headquarters in Marseille when I was at the staging area in the Marseille district, and later when the 228th General Hospital was assigned to Aix-en-Provence. Hazelcorn has a very fine record, and so in his reactions to the needs of the DPs and the local Jewish communities and the efforts for Palestine. 18. I have the greatest admiration for most American Jewish chaplains who served in the ETO from 1944 to 1948. Of course, most of us believe that Abraham Klausner was outstanding, probably the I did do what I could to help. 19, if I had not been there at that time, there probably would have been another chaplain who would have done as much or perhaps even more than I did. If there were no American Jewish chaplains in Europe, the fate and the condition of the survivors of the Holocaust might have been much worse than it was, because many of the chaplains who were served in Germany, who came in contact with the concentration camps and with masses of DPs, were indeed very, very helpful. It's funny, I've been sitting at my recorder thinking about what areas I have not touched upon and what should be discussed. At the moment, I can think of nothing more, period. Perhaps a matter of TPs who married in concentration camps and who married after leaving the camps and who thus started a new life and expressed the great Jewish optimism in so doing, might be a subject on which many of the chaplains might comment. Marriages between soldiers and members of surviving Jewish and the women of surviving Jewish communities might also be an area of interest, period. If you want any material on this matter, as far as my own involvement is concerned, I would then have to write to the Hebrew Union College for archives, for the archives there to send me material which I sent there at the request of Dr. Jacob Marcus, period. Might I think you probably have thought of contacting the archives to see what material might be available there. But if you have not, may I suggest that you do so. The archives might have letters,